The 1956 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those coins that continues to surprise collectors, even decades after it was first minted. At first glance, it might seem like a simple 1-cent piece, a small copper coin that once passed quietly through pockets and piggy banks across America. But hidden among the millions produced at the Denver Mint are rare treasures. Error coins so exceptional that they've stunned collectors and investors alike. Some of these 1956 D. Wheat Penny error coins have fetched incredible prices at auctions, ranging from $48,000 to as high as $215,500, depending on their rarity, condition, and the dramatic nature of their mistakes. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, remained in production until 1958. By 1956, the design was already iconic, with Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse and the simple wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the reverse. But despite years of refinement in the minting process, errors still managed to slip through the cracks. The Denver Mint, where the 1956 D pennies were struck, was producing coins at a massive scale during this period. With the machinery running constantly, even a slight mechanical issue could lead to a small number of coins being struck with mistakes. Mistakes that today make them incredibly valuable. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 1956 D Wheat Penny is the double die error. This occurs when the die, which imprints the design onto blank copper planchets, receives two impressions that are not perfectly aligned. The result is a doubling effect on parts of the coin, often most noticeable in the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date 1956 itself. The doubling might also appear on the reverse, affecting the wheat ears or the words "E pluribus unum." These double dies are extremely rare and visually striking, and they instantly elevate the coin's desirability among collectors. In pristine, uncirculated condition, a dramatic double die 1956 D penny can command a price that easily reaches into the tens of thousands, and some examples in exceptional grades have sold for well over $100,000. Another type of error that makes the 1956 D Wheat Penny special is the repunched mint mark error, or RPM. During this time, mint marks were manually punched into the dies, leaving room for small misalignments. Occasionally, the mint mark D for Denver was punched more than once, either slightly off position or overlapping itself. These repunched mint marks create visible doubling or shadowing under magnification, and they're among the most popular errors for collectors of mid-century coins. Certain varieties of the 1956 DRPM have been authenticated by grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and in high-grade examples, they've been known to sell for astonishing amounts, sometimes within that $48,000 to $215,500 range, depending on rarity and eye appeal. Die cracks and die breaks are also commonly found on some 1956 D pennies, but in certain cases, they're so dramatic that they transform the coin into a true minting marvel. Over time, the dies used to strike coins were down, developing fractures or weak points. When those damaged dies continue to strike coins, the cracks transfer onto the metal as raised lines or blobs. Some of the most famous 1956 D examples show extensive die cracks running across Lincoln's head or neck, while others feature raised lumps of metal around the rim or within the wheat stalks. These types of dramatic die breaks, sometimes referred to as cuds, are highly collectible and can bring strong premiums when found in sharp condition. The larger and more eye-catching the break, the more collectors are willing to pay. Another fascinating error involves off-center strikes. This happens when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned between the dies during the striking process, causing part of the design to appear shifted or even missing. A mild off-center strike might make the coin interesting, but when the misalignment is dramatic, showing a blank crescent of copper yet still displaying the date and mint mark, it becomes extremely valuable. For 1956 D Wheat pennies with a major off-center strike in mint state condition, prices can range anywhere from a few $1,000s to well beyond $100,000, depending on just how extreme the error is. Then there are the strikingly rare struck-through errors. During the coin's creation, if a piece of grease, cloth, or metal debris becomes trapped between the die and the blank planchet, it can cause part of the design to be missing or blurred. These struck-through errors create unique patterns and shapes on the coin, each one entirely different from the next. On the 1956 D penny, A struck-through grease error might result in missing details in Lincoln's hair or face, or even partial loss of the wheat ears on the reverse. These pieces are not only visually fascinating, but also one of a kind, which makes them especially attractive to collectors seeking something unique. Another type of error, sometimes seen in 1956, Wheat Pennies, is the off-metal strike. This occurs when a planchet intended for another denomination accidentally ends up in the press mint for pennies. For instance, a few rare examples have been discovered struck on silver dime planchets or foreign coin blanks. These are exceptionally rare and tend to fetch astronomical prices whenever they appear at auction. Given the rarity and complexity of such an error, prices can easily reach six figures, especially if the coin has been authenticated and preserved in uncirculated condition. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny is also remembered as one of the last few years of the beloved wheat reverse design, which adds to its nostalgic and historical appeal. It represents the end of an era, just before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. That sense of closure, combined with the beauty of the design and the mystery of its rare errors, keeps collectors deeply interested in this coin. Now, what's truly fascinating about the 1956 Wheat Penny is how many of these valuable error coins were likely overlooked for decades. Many sat unnoticed in old coffee cans, drawers, and penny jars, mistaken for common sense. It's only in recent years, as coin collecting has become more popular again, that people are rediscovering these hidden gems. Some lucky individuals have found them while sorting through inherited collections or rolls of old wheat pennies purchased from estate sales. The thrill of uncovering a coin worth $48,000 to $215,500 from a batch of 1-cent pieces is something that keeps treasure hunters motivated. Auction houses and coin grading companies have also played a big role in elevating the status of these coins. When in 1956, the error penny is authenticated and graded by professionals like Peace GS or NGC, it not only confirms its legitimacy, but also enhances its market value. Collectors are more confident bidding on certified coins, especially those that display strong error characteristics and high mint state grades. For coin enthusiasts, the 1956 Wheat Penny represents more than just money. It's a piece of American history, a relic of craftsmanship, and a symbol of imperfection turned into value. Every scratch, every doubling, and every misplaced mark tells the story of the minting process and how even machines can create accidental A or T.SO. The next time you come across an old wheat penny in your change, don't ignore it. Take a closer look at the date, the mint mark, and the fine details. You might be holding a piece of numismatic history in your hand, one that could be worth far more than you imagine. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny error coins continue to capture the fascination of collectors worldwide, not just for their beauty or rarity, but for the simple reminder that sometimes the smallest flaws can lead to the greatest fortunes. And in the case of this humble 1-cent piece, that fortune could range anywhere from $48,000 to an astonishing $215,500, making it one of the most extraordinary modern-era penny finds ever known. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny might look like just another small piece of copper to the casual observer. But to collectors and numismatists, it represents one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins of mid-20th century America. Minted in Denver at a time when the U.S. economy was thriving after World War II, millions of these pennies were struck and sent into circulation. Yet, among those millions, a few rare and extraordinary pieces escaped the minting presses with remarkable errors. Mistakes so unique that they've turned this humble 1-cent coin into a collector's dream, fetching anywhere between $33,800 and an astonishing $182,500 at auctions when preserved in pristine condition. The 1951 Penny is part of the beloved Lincoln Wheat series that ran from 1909 to 1958. These coins carry the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, and the reverse featured 2 wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. By 1951, the design had become one of America's most recognizable, circulating in pockets across the nation from farms to city streets. Yet, even with advanced minting processes, errors still manage to occur, sometimes subtle, other times dramatic, and these mistakes have become the source of some of the most thrilling finds in modern numismatics. One of the most famous varieties associated with the 1951 Wheat Penny is the double die error. A double die happens during the die creation process, when a working die receives two impressions that are misaligned, causing certain parts of the coin's design to appear doubled. On the 1951 D, this doubling can sometimes be seen most clearly in the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date itself. Under magnification, these letters or numbers seem to have a ghostly shadow, a second outline that makes the coin instantly stand out to the trained eye. While some double dies are minor, the most dramatic examples can significantly increase the coin's value, especially in high mint state grades. Collectors who manage to find a strong double die from this year have discovered that their penny, once worth a single cent, can bring life-changing sums, sometimes reaching or exceeding $100,000 in rare cases, depending on the sharpness of the strike and the preservation of the coin. Another captivating type of 1951 D penny error is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. During this period, mint marks were still hand-punched into the dies, leaving plenty of room for human error. Occasionally, the D for Denver was punched more than once, slightly off from the first strike. When these coins were minted, the overlapping impressions left a doubled or even tripled appearance to the mint mark. Collectors love these repunched mint marks because they tell a story of how coins were made before automation took over the minting process. Some 1951 DRPM varieties are subtle, requiring magnification to spot, while others are bold enough to be seen with the naked eye. Certain repunched mint mark varieties are so distinct that they've been cataloged by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, and when found in uncirculated condition, these coins can sell for tens of thousands, sometimes up to $33,800 or more, depending on the clarity of the error and the condition of the coin. But the surprises don't end there. Some 1951 D Lincoln Wheat Pennies show striking die cracks, die breaks, and even major cuts. These occur when the dies used to strike coins begin to fracture or wear out from overuse. The cracks or missing chunks in the die cause raised lines, blobs, or missing sections on the coins themselves. On a 1951 D penny, a dramatic die crack across Lincoln's portrait or a missing chunk on the rim can create a highly collectible cut error. These types of coins are visually fascinating and completely unique, with no two errors being exactly the same. The more dramatic the flaw, the higher the potential value. Some examples have sold for incredible amounts at auction when combined with mint state condition and strong visual appeal. Another rare and valuable type of error involves off-center strikes. This occurs when the coin blank, known as a planchet, isn't properly centered between the obverse and reverse dies when struck. The result is a coin that's missing part of its design on one side, replaced by a blank crescent of copper. A minor off-center strike might only shift the design slightly, but when the misalignment is significant, showing part of the date and mint mark while leaving a large blank area, the coin becomes exceptionally valuable. High-grade off-center 1951 D pennies with strong details can sell for anywhere from several $1,000s to well over $100,000. Depending on the degree of the error, struck-through errors are another fascinating possibility for the 1951 D penny. These happen when a foreign object like grease, metal shavings, or even a small piece of fabric becomes trapped between the die and the planchet during striking. The result is a coin with missing or distorted design details, sometimes creating strange and beautiful patterns. A struck-through grease error might cause parts of Lincoln's face or hair to appear faded, while a struck-through metal fragment could leave a sharp impression or void. These coins are highly collectible precisely because they are one of a kind. No two struck-through errors are ever identical. One of the rarest and most exciting discoveries among 1951 D pennies involves off-metal strikes. Occasionally, the mint accidentally strikes a penny design on a planchet intended for another denomination. For instance, a few have been discovered struck on dime planchets or even foreign coin blanks. These errors are extremely scarce and are among the most valuable types of minting mistakes ever made. A 1951 D penny struck on a silver dime planchet, for example, could be worth an extraordinary amount of money, easily pushing into the six-figure range if authenticated and graded in top condition. Beyond errors, the 1951 D penny also carries historical and sentimental value. It was minted during a period of post-war optimism in the United States, when coin collecting was becoming increasingly popular among ordinary Americans. Many people held onto wheat pennies out of nostalgia or curiosity, never realizing that among the piles of copper coins in jars and drawers might lie a hidden treasure worth tens of thousands, or even over $182,500 in rare cases. The Denver Mint produced more than 563 million pennies in 1951, so the challenge for collectors isn't finding one. It's finding one with an error and in exceptional condition. Over the decades, most circulated examples have picked up scratches, wear, and discoloration from use. But the few that escaped heavy circulation and retained their mint luster can command incredible premiums, especially when combined with era characteristics. Collectors pay close attention to the coin's color and grade. Red, RD. Pennies, which maintain their original copper shine, are the most desirable, followed by red-brown, RB, and brown, BN, examples. Coin grading services like PeaceGS and NGC play a crucial role in verifying and preserving these coins. A 1951 Wheat Penny with a verified error and a high grade from one of these companies can attract serious attention from collectors and investors worldwide. When such coins appear at auctions, they often spark bidding wars, with prices climbing far beyond expectations. There have been instances where seemingly modest error pennies from this era have sold for more than luxury cars or even small homes, proving that even a 1-cent piece can carry extraordinary value under the right circumstances. Part of what makes the 1951 Wheat Penny so captivating is the sense of discovery it brings. People continue to find them in old collections, inherited jars, and coin rolls purchased from estate sales. Every so often, a lucky individual will stumble across a misstruck or doubled coin and realize they're holding something incredibly rare. It's this possibility, the idea that anyone might unknowingly possess a coin worth between $33,800 and $182,500, that keeps the excitement alive. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny stands as a testament to how imperfections can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. Its story blends history, art, and the thrill of chance, reminding collectors and dreamers alike that even a tiny piece of copper can carry immense worth. Whether it's a double die, a repunched mint mark, or a dramatic off-center strike, each error tells its own story of how the minting process, despite its precision, can produce miracles by mistake. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. In every handful of old change lies the possibility of discovery, a whisper from the past, and maybe even a fortune waiting to be found. The 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those fascinating coins that reminds collectors why numismatics is as much about mystery and discovery as it is about history. To most people, a 1948 penny might look like just another old copper coin sitting in a drawer or jar somewhere. But to those who know what to look for, it's a potential treasure worth far beyond its face value. Among these small, simple coins minted in the years following World War II are a few rare examples that contain extraordinary minting errors, mistakes that have transformed them from a mere cent into collectibles valued between $65,000 and an astonishing $300,000, depending on condition and rarity. The 1948 Wheat Penny was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each version has its own set of characteristics, but the Philadelphia mint issue, with no mint mark beneath the date, remains one of the most sought after when it comes to error coins. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, carries the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat ears on the reverse, a style that embodies early to mid-century American coinage. This was a time when attention to detail was paramount. But even with the best technology available at the time, errors sometimes slipped through the mint's strict quality controls. These mistakes became time capsules of imperfection, forever locking in a story of how one tiny misalignment or misfeed could produce a coin worth hundreds of thousands decades later. One of the most well-known and valuable error types found in the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny series is the double die error. In this kind of mistake, the die used to strike the coins is improperly aligned during the creation process, resulting in the doubling of letters, numbers, or design elements. On the 1948 penny, this doubling is often visible on the date itself, the motto "In God We Trust," or the word liberty. When magnified, the duplication gives the coin a shadowy or overlapping appearance, immediately catching the eye of collectors. The rarity of strong double dies from this year makes them incredibly desirable, especially when found in uncirculated or mint state condition. It's not uncommon for one of these high-grade, double-die 1948 pennies to fetch between $65,000 and $300,000 at auction, depending on the clarity of the doubling and the overall preservation of the coin. Another captivating type of error connected with a 1948 penny is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. During this era, mint marks were manually punched into the dies, leaving plenty of room for human error. Sometimes, the initial punch would be slightly off, requiring a second or even third attempt. This resulted in coins showing a faint double or triple D or S under magnification. The 1948 D and 1948 S pennies with clear repunched mint marks are highly collectible because they show the human side of the minting process. The imperfections that prove these coins were crafted in a different time, when handwork was still part of the production line. These varieties are well documented and have been cataloged by grading authorities such as PCGS and NGC. Collectors especially prize examples that are crisp and well-centered. And when such an error appears on a bright red, uncirculated penny, it can easily reach into the tens of thousands at major coin auctions. There are also 1948 Lincoln Wheat Pennies with striking die cracks, cuds, and breaks that make each coin one of a kind. A die crack happens when the die begins to fracture under pressure, leaving raised lines or ridges on the coin surface. A cut is a more dramatic version of this error, where a piece of the die breaks off entirely, resulting in a blob-like raised area on the coin where the design is missing. These types of coins are extremely collectible because they visually represent the moment the minting process went wrong. The more dramatic and noticeable the break, the more valuable the coin becomes. Imagine finding a 1948 penny with a large cud along Lincoln's shoulder or rim, a true rarity that could bring a small fortune. Especially when paired with a high preservation grade at off-center strikes are another form of error that makes the 1948 penny especially exciting for collectors. When the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly centered between the dies during striking, the resulting coin appears with part of its design missing or shifted. Sometimes, a portion of the rim will be blank, while the rest of the design looks squeezed to one side. The greater the degree of misalignment, the more valuable the coin, especially if both the date and mint mark remain visible. Perfectly struck coins might be technically correct, but it's these imperfect off-center examples that attract passionate interest and huge auction prices. A sharply detailed, significantly off-center 1948 penny can easily surpass $100,000, and when found in mint state condition, those prices soar even higher. Then there are broad-struck errors, which occur when the collar that holds the planchet in place during striking fails, allowing the coin to spread outward. This gives the coin a slightly larger and flatter appearance. While subtle, broad-struck errors from the 1940s are prized because they demonstrate a rare mechanical failure during the minting process. On a 1948 Lincoln cent, a broad strike that leaves the details fully visible and the rim slightly expanded can be worth thousands. And in pristine examples, potentially tens of thousands of struck-through errors are also known among the 1948 issues. These happen when a foreign object, like grease, metal filings, or even a stray piece of cloth, becomes trapped between the die and the planchet during striking. The result is a unique indentation or missing detail where the object was. In some cases, these struck-through areas take on eerie or artistic shapes, making each coin a true one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. Collectors love these because no two are identical, and depending on the visibility and rarity of the error, a coin like this can become the centerpiece of a collection. Another exceedingly rare error type found in the 1948 series involves off-metal strikes. Occasionally, the mint accidentally used planchets meant for other denominations or even foreign coins. When the Lincoln design is struck on an incorrect planchet, such as one meant for a dime or a foreign coin, the result is an extraordinary collectible. These off-metal errors are so scarce that when they appear on the market, they immediately draw national attention from both serious numismatists and investors. A verified 1948 Lincoln penny struck on a dime or silver planchet could easily command prices well above $200,000 in the right conditions, especially if it's authenticated and graded by a reputable service. Collectors are also drawn to the 1948 penny for its historical importance. Coming just 3 years after the end of World War II, it was minted in a period of renewed hope and industrial progress in America. It's easy to imagine people in the late 1940s using these very coins to buy newspapers, candy, or bus fare, unaware that decades later, one of these little copper cents might be worth a fortune. That's part of what makes this hobby so thrilling. The idea that history can hide in plain sight, disguised as something so ordinary to high-grade examples of the 1948 penny, those graded mint state 65 or higher, are particularly valuable, even without dramatic errors. When a coin combines both pristine condition and a notable minting flaw, the result can be staggering in value. Some of the most impressive sales have occurred when collectors discovered coins that had been tucked away for decades, forgotten in jars, or inherited collections. Upon professional grading and authentication, those coins suddenly became life-changing finds. Professional grading companies like PeaceGS and NGC play a crucial role in verifying these rarities. They ensure that the errors are genuine and not the result of post-mint damage or alteration. Once a coin receives a certified grade and error designation, its market value skyrockets, often drawing competitive bidding from collectors around the world. Auctions have recorded astonishing results for coins like these, where a small, unassuming penny ended up selling for prices once thought unimaginable. What makes the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny so special isn't just its potential worth. It's the story it tells. Every minting error is a reminder that even precision machinery can falter, and that in those fleeting imperfections, beauty and value can be found. Whether it's a double die, a repunched mint mark, an off-center strike, or an off-metal planchet, each mistake becomes a testament to the unpredictability of history and the enduring allure of coin collecting. It's a humbling thought. Somewhere in a forgotten box of old coins, someone might unknowingly hold a 1948 wheat penny that could change their life. Its copper surface, dulled by time, hides a story of chance, craftsmanship, and error. And perhaps, just beneath that surface, lies the key to a coin worth between $65,000 and $300,000. A tiny piece of American history waiting to be rediscovered, proving once again that in the world of rare coins, every detail matters and every find has a story worth telling.